DeeJay, and we are going to be casting Arsenal versus Liverpool today. So really excited about this one as we are wrapping up week 3 here in the Premier League. Still 4 teams have only played 2 games. Aston Villa, Man U, Burnley, Man City still only played 2 games, but Liverpool will be wrapping up their 3rd match of the season here against Arsenal today, and this is an exciting one. Both teams have looked pretty solid to start the campaign. Arsenal looked excellent against Fulham, a little bit more questionable against West Ham, but a 3-0 victory for them against Fulham, a 2-1 victory against West Ham on the back of a late Eddie Nketiah goal. There has been some good play from Arsenal, and then Liverpool having that banger of an opener 4-3 against a Leeds, that Mo Salah hat-trick, and then also able to pull out the victory last week. So both teams going to be going into this one 6 points either at or tied for the top of the table here. And both teams have been playing fairly well. So we have a lot to look forward here to here today. So about 10 minutes here before kickoff, we'll be going through the lineups here in just a second. Just give me 1 second here as I get the last few things set up, ready to go here. All right, that should do it for me. So match is about 10 minutes away. Teams are still warming up. We can walk through the lineups here. So for Liverpool, see Alisson Becker starting in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk, Andrew Robertson across the back 4. The normal starting back 4 here, so everybody healthy there. Gigi Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Naby Keita across midfield. So Naby Keita picking up another start here today. Has looked pretty decent so far, but I think Jordan Henderson's still probably injured here. So Fabinho going to move out of that center back position that he played last week. With Joe Gomez also back. He had a knock before their match against Chelsea, so couldn't start. So Fabinho will move back into midfield trio here. It is a very engine room midfield to say the least here for Liverpool, but that's fairly normal for their side. And then we have Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, usual trio up top for Liverpool. So pretty strong side here, and just really Jordan Henderson absent from this one. For the Arsenal side, we got Bernd Leno in goal. Looks like they'll be rolling out in a 3-4-3 here today. So interesting for Mikel Arteta, going to go with this formation today against Liverpool. You see David Luiz, Rob Holding, Kieran Tierney selected for the back 3 defenders here, with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Hector Bellerin going to be playing on the wing-back positions. Maitland-Niles on the left, Hector Bellerin on the right. We have a midfield duo of Mohamed Elneny and Granit Xhaka. And then the triad up front, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Alexander Lacazette, and Willian going to be starting across the top here. So we'll be getting that attacking trio again, who have been pretty electric so far here in this campaign. Aubameyang in particular has been electric at the start of this season. So it's again a lot to look forward to here today. All 6 of these attacking players have been pretty lively. Willian had 3 assists in his debut. A little more muted in the second performance, but all 6 of them absolutely electric attackers on their day, and a couple of them in very, very good form already, most notably Mo Salah and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So interesting to see how this 3-4-3 goes for Arteta here today. I think he's trying to kind of bolster maybe midfield presence. Not sure if he would expect to be able to play down the wing too much. Maybe he thinks they can, though I do think the Liverpool outside backs are ones that are very hard to take advantage of. So despite having those 3 strikers, what should be basically a midfield 4, which would allow you to have that bank of 4. We'll kind of see how this plays out in practice. I would venture that Arteta's probably wanted to put out what he would consider his strongest side here against Liverpool in a game that he'll want to win. I think he thinks his team's playing pretty well. He thinks he's probably got them in a pretty good position. I think he's also a very capable manager. And so I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to pull out here tactically, because I don't think the 3-4-3 structure on its own is necessarily good enough. I do think it, leaves you extremely vulnerable. At the back here, Rob Holding, not exactly known for his pace. Tierney is okay. David Luiz has not the greatest pace anymore. I would expect that these three defenders don't get help, or that Hector Bellerin and Maitland-Niles don't sit deep. It could be very, very troublesome against Liverpool's front three. So I don't expect it to just kind of be your... The way this team is set up is as if... The way this back three is set up is as if Arsenal expects to have the ball a lot. You know, David Luiz is a ball-playing center defender. He's not typically what you would consider the anchor of a three defensive set. Typically, you'd see, you know, your Willy Bollies. James Tarkowski would be the kind of mold, right? Someone who's a little maybe less ball-playing, more aerially dominant, more physically dominant. Someone to really be an anchor, right? David Luiz is not an anchor defensively. He is an anchor as a ball player, right? He's an anchor as a passer, for sure. So I'm interested to see what Arteta's game plan is, and kind of how... Keep your eye at the beginning of this match on where Hector Bellerin and Maitland-Niles play, or at least like start their positioning. My guess is that one of them will push a little bit higher and more inward to try to match the midfield trio of Liverpool. One of them will probably be given a little bit more freedom to stay wide, and they'll probably in attack try to be as wide as humanly possible. But I would expect defensively, and maybe even on the weak side, one of them will play kind of more as like an auxiliary midfielder, because I think Arteta would be worried about leaving Xhaka and El Neni to deal with all three of Liverpool's midfielders on their own. So I would expect there to be help there. I don't think he expects a lot of help out of Lacazette and Aubameyang. So you may end up seeing Maitland-Niles be the one with less freedom as he lets Aubameyang run. Willian has always been known as a pretty hard-working, you know, obviously a great attacker, but more of a hard, also known more as one of the harder-working wingers, right wingers, right forwards, right throw, whatever you want to consider the position. He does do his defensive duties very, very well. So I would expect him to kind of be up and down, maybe to help the Arsenal midfield. And you'll see Aubameyang with some freedom. Liverpool I expect to attack kind of the way you would normally expect to see them. So I guess that's why I've spent a lot of time talking about Arsenal here, is just because the shape is definitely very interesting and not something you see them do all the time. Liverpool look about as standard as possible, which at its best is one of the best three teams in Europe and pretty much any day. So, you know, if you've watched Liverpool before, expect dynamic pressing, expect this trio up top to be absolutely dynamic and potentially give these Arsenal defenders absolute fits. Expect a composed but huge engine in that midfield trio. All three of them can run. Fabinho and Naby Keita have technique and passing range. And expect, you know, industriousness from the outside backs and solidity from the center backs. So Liverpool side through and through here under Jurgen Klopp. Just a couple minutes left before we get into this one. For those of you that may be new to the channel, once again, I'm the DeeJay. I am an aspiring professional broadcaster. I would hope to work in either esports or for Major League Soccer, as I do live in Chicago in the United States of America. So do appreciate anyone tuning in here. I do hope you enjoy the channel, but I'll be, for most of the match, very like broadcaster mode, trying to be as unbiased as possible, give my thoughts and opinions at halftime and full time. But while casting, I'll be essentially, you know, maybe once in a while responding to chat. Otherwise, I'll be in broadcaster mode. And of course, I cannot show the match for broadcasting rights. So this is for basically an alternative form of my basically play-by-play, an alternative broadcast for you, or I guess audio for you, and also practice for myself. So do thank anyone tuning in today, and do hope you enjoy the match. Just about 30 seconds away, so I'm going to lower my thing here. We're going to use the scoreboard again. We did this last week, and seems like it was fine. So we'll leave this corner up here, try to capture the Premier League scoreboard, and we will get synced up here and get started with this match. Referee is just coming out to start this one up. For those of you watching at home who want to overlay my commentary with the game, you got Arsenal in the white shirts moving left to right, Liverpool in their reds moving right to left here for the first half. Players taking a knee once again in support of Black Lives Matter movement that is ongoing across the world here. Lacazette is up, ball's been played, and we are live. Make sure I got the entire scoreboard here. Perfect. Okay, David Luiz launching this one deep into the left. Fabinho will clear this one away. Aubameyang fights for it, but it ends up with Joe Gomez. A little bit of a chaotic start here. But finally, possession is collected by Arsenal, and they will have the first string of possession in this match. Although Elneny going to look for a through ball there to Aubameyang early on. That one is intercepted by Fabinho, knocked out for a throw-in. Ensuing throw is headed by Trent Alexander-Arnold and cleared away here. Battle for possession on the far touchline will be hoofed forward by Fabinho. It will end up at the feet of David Luiz, and Liverpool will push up the field here. Good pressure from Sadio Mane, forcing it back to David Luiz. Rob Holding giving an option. This will be lofted over to Bellerin. Playing in his wing-back position. He'll be bundled over by Mane, and Mane just going to run back by him and go pressure the ball once again after that foul is called by the referee. This is a long ball in behind to Aubameyang, who is in the clear. Not sure if he was offsides or not. No flag raised just yet, and the clearance from Alisson is an Arsenal throw here. Nope, we'll bring that one back for offsides. You can see just below the scoreboard there. So they do catch Aubameyang offsides. It did look quite suspicious there how deep in behind the Liverpool line he was. So possession will move over to Liverpool here as Virgil van Dijk has it at his feet. Will look long early on here towards Salah. Picks him out very well. Now matched up with Tierney. Going to cut inside. Looks for a split pass there into Firmino, but it's well read by David Luiz, who will now bring this one away. But his pass a little bit wayward there, and miscommunication between him and Aubameyang will not connect. It will be a Liverpool throw-in. Pretty high energy here in the first 2 minutes. Teams still trying to settle into the flow of possession. Ball's been bouncing around a lot as once again Van Dijk will look long, this time connecting with Mane. He tries to pass to Mohamed Salah there and gets in a bit of a tangle with Kieran Tierney as he tries to throw his body into position to protect from the ball. His arm strikes the face of Tierney here. Take a look at the replay. See, this one bounces away from him. He's going to get to this ball first, but tries to kind of shift his body in as you would, expecting, a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, trying to sneak it in front of Tierney. His arm comes up and catches Tierney on the side of the face here. He's actually going to get a yellow card for this one. So very early yellow here for Sadio Mane. Potentially a little unfortunate. I don't think, of course, there was any intent there to strike Tierney. I think Mane was going into that one expecting shoulder-to-shoulder contact, maybe not completely sure if he was going to get to that ball first, and as he started to come together with Tierney, maybe didn't get the contact he expected. His arm comes up and strikes Tierney there, but will be a yellow card for Mane there. Arsenal will restart this one. Long ball won by Joe Gomez. Will come down to Naby Keita, but he'll lose out to Granit Xhaka. Once again, ball bouncing around here. Both teams kind of fighting in a chaotic duel for possession here. We have not had a lot of settled possession thus far. A lot of long passes, bouncing headers so far. Liverpool will finally settle this one down. Playing it between their center backs a couple of times here. And Van Dijk will loft this one out to Alexander-Arnold. Does come back to Dutch center back here. He'll move it over to Joe Gomez. He will look long now to the left-hand side. Another good connection here with Andy Robertson, very high up the pitch. Good combination play between Robertson and Firmino. Finds Firmino at the top of the box. His pass intended for Naby Keita is flicked away. Be collected by Virgil van Dijk, and now Liverpool with a decent spell of good possession here. Van Dijk now pressured by Lacazette. Wijnaldum into Robertson. Be forced backwards. Joe Gomez splits the pressure from Aubameyang to find Keita. Now Firmino dropped deep here. Play a couple passes with Keita. He'll find Wijnaldum. Under pressure from Willian. Ball comes out to Robertson. A little bit of bouncing, so he has to take a touch to settle that one instead of crossing. Forced to play it back to Wijnaldum. Now Robertson again looking for a cross. Good defending by Bellerin. Cuts the angle and an intercepted pass there by El Neni. But the clearance from Holding only as far as Robertson, and Liverpool will retain possession here and retain the pressure. As another lofted pass out to the right from Van Dijk. Connects well with Alexander-Arnold. He's the first time ball across. That one hoofed away by David Luiz, but doesn't come very far. Liverpool have it again. The pass in behind intended for Salah is read well by Tierney. It will go out for a Liverpool throw. Sorry, Jay Baller. I'm not going to take that risk. This is a channel for practice for me. No, I'm not going to show the match. Sorry. Here is Joe Gomez now playing in between Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho. Virgil will look long again. His long passing so far has been on point. This one doesn't quite connect, but the header from Bellerin only gets as far as Mane. Liverpool will have it once again. Mane now with it on the near touchline. Here's Robertson. Wijnaldum will look across the line to Gomez, but it will come back to Van Dijk. Arsenal trying to apply a little bit of pressure, but so far these Liverpool center backs appear unflappable in this one. Taking their time composed on the ball, and Liverpool have a good spell of possession. You keep moving a little further back the field here, so trying to find the right option forward. It's Wijnaldum, closed down by Willian. Robertson is to his left. Pass in there for Mane is picked off by El Neni. This one goes forward, but the pass for Willian picked off by Wijnaldum, and it will end up back at Virgil van Dijk's feet. Gomez out to Alexander-Arnold. Ooh, poor pass from Alexander-Arnold there. It's well read by Lacazette. He looks like he's going to draw a foul here on Fabinho, but the referee actually showing no sympathy there to the Arsenal striker, allowing play to go on. Lacazette has his hands up in the air, a little bit frustrated with the referee there. Liverpool will continue play. Good entry pass for Salah here. Some combination play between him and Keita, but good pressure from Maitland-Niles. Arsenal come away with it, but then waste possession quite quickly. They're knocking that one out for a throw-in. So Joe Gomez and now Virgil once again. See, after that hectic first 5 minutes, we have Liverpool pretty firmly in possession here. The Arsenal have been doing a good job closing down the angles, making it a little bit difficult for Liverpool. Have been kept mostly to some long balls from their center backs into the wide strikers, Mane and or Salah, or Robertson if he's pushed up high, while they have been playing some pretty accurate passes out from the center back position. Not a lot of penetration yet from the Liverpool attack here, and now Arsenal will have a chance to hold some possession here. It's with David Luiz. He will, a nice pass out to Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles closed down, forced all the way back to Bernd Leno here, our Arsenal. Moving it out to Rob Holding. Here's Tierney, trying to move this one up the field on the dribble, but has two Liverpool players in front of him. Will be forced to loft this one up the far touchline. It's easily won by Joe Gomez. His header not quite connecting with Fabinho, and now Aubameyang has it on the far touchline. Good pass in behind for Maitland-Niles, but it looks like he is offsides, and that Arsenal attack will come to nothing. Liverpool will restart this one quickly. Defenders playing the ball in between each other until Van Dijk will loft this one out towards Alexander-Arnold. He's closed down by Maitland-Niles. Passed back inside to Fabinho, but his long ball for Mane, I believe that's Keita, is unable to connect. David Luiz has it once again here. Looking for some options. Will be forced wide to Tierney. Tierney with a good ball to Maitland-Niles. He moves it inside of Alexander-Arnold. It's upended by Fabinho, but adjudged to have won the ball in that challenge, and Liverpool will come away with it. Good pass into the feet of Firmino by Alexander-Arnold. It's now with Keita. Joe Gomez. So we mentioned before the match, Arsenal in what looks to be a 3-4-3 in practice, in theory. That one in defensive structure not coming so much to fruition. You can see Willian drop deep. Lacazette really the only one high here whatsoever. So both wingers doing a little bit. Willian doing a bit more than I would say Aubameyang so far. So Arteta is being careful tactically to give his midfield some cover with that two-player pivot of Xhaka and El Neni. A little bit hard to play against a three, so making sure that there is an extra body in the midfield areas at all times. But Liverpool able to play through this one. They find Keita running in forward. We'll find Robertson on the left. Robertson crosses. That one deflected. Will go behind for a corner kick. Holding with some good last-ditch defending there. But this is an excellent combination from Liverpool to finally get a little bit of penetration behind the Arsenal back line here. See Robertson picking that ball up on a good pass from Keita. His first touch is good, but doing a decent job getting that sliding challenge in to block the ensuing cross. So keep that one on the ground. Here's the ensuing corner. Robertson from the near corner here will look into the back post. It's headed halfway clear by Bellerin, the rest of the way by Aubameyang. Alexander-Arnold does well to knock this one around. Here comes the header into the box, and David Luiz forced to clear that one away from Bernd Leno after that long cross from Alexander-Arnold is headed down by Virgil van Dijk at the back post. See here, Alexander-Arnold getting the better of Tierney. He lobs it into the back post, and Van Dijk wins his duel with holding. He knocks it back down into the 6-yard box, and under pressure from Firmino, David Luiz comes across Bernd Leno, heading that one away. Liverpool taking the corner here. It's headed away by Luiz. Bounces back around a couple of heads there before going out wide. A good sliding challenge from Aubameyang wins the initial challenge, but Tierney's late to the second one. Play will continue with advantage. Liverpool now lofting one to the back post. Sadio Mane one-on-one with Bellerin here. Now has Willian for company as well. Keita at the top of the box will take a shot. It's deflected off of Rob Holding. Will come out for a corner kick. A lot of pressure mounting from Liverpool here. Now about 12 minutes gone in the first half. Off of these couple of corner kicks, every time Arsenal get a half clearance, Liverpool able to either win a header or bring it down and continue the pressure onto the Arsenal defense. Now the third corner in just as many minutes here from Andy Robertson. Again on this near touchline. Be left-footed outswinging corner. It's on the ground this time, looking for the run of Mo Salah, but doesn't quite get the connection he wants. He was defended fairly well there by, I believe, El Neni. Would have to see the replay to be sure, but doing enough to throw Salah off there and skies that one deep into the empty bleachers behind the goal. This will be a goal kick for Arsenal, and finally a little bit of relief in the pressure Liverpool has been putting on the Gunners thus far. Leno wanted to play short there, but good awareness from Liverpool will have him send his team up the field. He will boot this one long towards the left-hand side. Up goes Aubameyang, winning the initial header. The second ball is won by Robertson. He'll knock it down for Alisson, who looks long here. That one going to escape every Arsenal defender, but will go all the way to Bernd Leno. Clears this one out towards the left touchline. Doesn't quite connect with Maitland-Niles, and that one will be a Liverpool throw. Liverpool restarting this one in their back line. It's out with Robertson. Now Van Dijk. Another clip pass out to the right. This one read well by Maitland-Niles. It's one brought down by Aubameyang. He looks for Maitland-Niles on the return pass, but pretty poor pass there. Joe Gomez just able to try to see this one out. Maitland-Niles does a good job to keep it in play, but as a result of sliding, it allows Gomez to dribble that one forward safely, and Liverpool able to clear their lines. Another bouncing ball ends up at the feet of Fabinho, who will knock it back to Alisson. Now Liverpool will try to restart once again. Here's Allison into the feet of Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum going to look up. Long ball towards the left-hand side here. Great touch by Mane. Brings that one down. He connects with, I believe, Mo Salah there. Now here's Fabinho. Moving this one out to Alexander-Arnold. Looks for a couple options. We'll clip this one into the box. Naby Keita is there. Has control inside the box. Defended by David Luiz. Leaves it for Alexander-Arnold, who crosses, and Mane with the shot. It's saved by Leno. Excellent reaction save there by the Arsenal goalkeeper. That was a great opportunity for Liverpool. Mane getting a shot off just about 8 yards out there. See this one on replay. Keita going to leave this one for Arnold. His cross picks out the on-rushing Mane, who's left at the top of the box by Lacazette. Makes good contact, but it comes straight at Leno. But good job by the Arsenal keeper. Reactions getting his hands up, able to push that one away from the dangerous areas. So you come back to live here. Liverpool once again have it in their defensive end between Van Dijk and Gomez. Van Dijk looking long for Mo Salah. He will hold off Tierney well. Will try to cut inside. That one poked off of him by a combination of Tierney and Maitland-Niles. Arsenal will clear it, but will go all the way back to Alisson. He will simply restart once again, and Liverpool now looking to be in full control of the match here. 15 minutes in, they've had the first real opportunity of the match. They're falling to Sadio Mane off of that cross from Alexander-Arnold, but they do have essentially complete control of the ball of possession at this point in the match. Taking their time to move this one forward, looking for the right passes, the right opportunities. Arsenal trying to apply some pressure here. Lacazette high on to Van Dijk, but gets passed around there and it ends up with Fabinho. He'll lob it out to Naby Keita. Keita and Fabinho patient once again, looking back for Van Dijk. Here's Keita dropped deep. He'll look out wide for Robertson. Robertson trying to find the right option, but again, Arsenal pretty good job shifting back and forth, cutting off passing angles here. Liverpool have been held with possession between their center backs for quite some time now, about a minute and a half here. It's Van Dijk to Gomez again. There's some good close down from Aubameyang now. This one will go all the way back to Alisson. He'll push it wide to Alexander-Arnold. Now inside to Fabinho. So Liverpool is still just happy to keep possession here in their back line. Force Arsenal come out. Here is Aubameyang chasing this one down. 4 Arsenal players up the field here trying to pressure. Here's a long pass from Van Dijk. That is a miscommunication between him and Mane. That one overshoots Mane by about 10 yards, and Rob Holding will easily pick it up. And now Arsenal in possession here. Leno going to loft this one out to Tierney, but he overplays his left-sided defender there. That will go out for a Liverpool throw in their attacking third. They're able to bring it down. They have possession now on the ground. It's out with Alexander-Arnold. His flick pass into Salah is blocked, but it does come back to him. Trying to combine here, but his last pass into Firmino, just a little bit too high, will escape the foot of the Liverpool striker, and it will be a goal kick to Arsenal. So far, there's still some good energy in this match. Liverpool patient in possession, but when they do finally break through Arsenal's midfield line, they are trying to play fairly quickly, trying to get combination play and trying to get flick passes in behind. Arsenal doing a good job defending, maybe a little bit less in possession, as once again, under only a little bit of pressure there, Tierney looks long up the line and not finding even really anyone, no Arsenal players even near that pass. And now Liverpool have it once again. Van Dijk back to Alisson. We'll just clip it back to Van Dijk. Bit of a cheeky pass there from the Liverpool goalkeeper. Put a lot of spin on that one for his center back, but of course Van Dijk capable of handling that one. There's Alisson now clipping this one out to Wijnaldum, who's dropped deep. Good sidestep of El Neni's initial challenge. Gives him a yard of space he uses to find Fabinho. Robertson tries to look inside. His pass headed away by Granit Xhaka. Robertson throws all the way back to Van Dijk. Van Dijk across to Gomez. Gomez going to try to drive forward. A little bit of a big touch there. Gets closed down by Lacazette, but does manage to keep possession. Keita. Back to Alisson. Now Van Dijk. Willian pressuring him. Back out to Van Dijk again. Liverpool very patient, very composed in possession. Finally finds Mane up the field. Good split pass to Firmino. There's room to work here for Liverpool. Out wide to Robertson. He looks towards the back post towards Salah. And his crossed pass there intercepted by Granit Xhaka. It's a sliding challenge as he retreats from the midfield area. And Arsenal really undone there just over time. Liverpool very patient, very composed in possession as more Arsenal players committed to pressure up the field. They were able to find a couple of passes in behind the midfield line. Now here's Robertson with Liverpool's fourth corner. Comes into the near post, headed away well by Luiz. Here's a great strike, and it's off the top of the bar! Headed away by Holding here. It will go out for another corner kick. That was an excellent strike from Trent Alexander-Arnold at the top of the box. Corner's taken short and quickly. Here's Naby Keita towards the back post, but his ball doesn't have enough flight on it. Shot back in from Salah. This one not struck as well as Alexander-Arnold's, and it will dribble harmlessly into Leno's hands. Here's the replays. Decent header out by David Luiz, but it's in the central area. Comes right to Alexander-Arnold, who makes great contact. His shot is deflected through the legs of Bellerin there, and the bounce off the turf gets just high enough to hit the top of the crossbar there. Stays in play and is eventually cleared away by Rob Holding, but another good chance there for Liverpool. And this time Arsenal can thank the woodwork for keeping this match level. The Reds once again in possession here. Wijnaldum has it at the base of midfield. He looks outside to Robertson. As time goes on, Arsenal seems less and less interested in trying to press Liverpool. First 5 to 7 minutes of the match, they were sending a few more players up the pitch, and Liverpool now retreating all the way to Alisson. Once again, look composed so far in possession. Keita trying to escape Maitland-Niles. His pass will connect, but it's knocked all the way back to Gomez, and they'll start over once again. Now, Van Dijk clipping this one up towards Mane. Has the pace on Holding, but Holding uses his body well to keep Mane away, but will concede a throw-in to Liverpool here on the near touchline. So Liverpool still in the ascendancy, although they lose possession of this one. A bit of a scrum after throwing that one in. It's now an Arsenal throw in essentially the same spot. Arsenal so far, you see the stat rolling in across the box, don't have any touches in the opposition box. It's just about to mention Arsenal trying to look for some sort of inroads into this match. They have looked decent defensively, shifting side to side, trying to limit Liverpool, but really have had nothing to say or nothing to hang their hats on in attack whatsoever. Have mostly been forced into rushed clearances and have not had any semblance of a concerted attack as of yet in this match. So trying to find a way to change the momentum in this first half. Here's Luiz. Tries to connect with Maitland-Niles, but gives it away at the top of the box. Here is Wijnaldum shooting. Doesn't quite hit it with power, and no deflection. It will roll into Bernd Leno's hands. Pretty easy save there for the Arsenal goalkeepers. See the replay here. Leno leaves a short pass for Luiz, and he sees Maitland-Niles, but overplays him, thinking that Maitland-Niles will come towards the far touchline. That one's intercepted by Keita and results in that shot from Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum doesn't really put his foot through it, instead trying to side foot it in. Looked like he was hoping either to for the traffic to block Leno's vision or for a deflection there. rather than trying to beat Leno with the shot itself. So Arsenal have this one again. Luiz with a similar pass into Maitland-Niles, but this one connects. Good combination play up the wing, but pass from Aubameyang deflected by Gomez. Here's a great pass into Lacazette, who finds Maitland-Niles on the far touchline. 3 Arsenal players already in the box. Maitland-Niles going to look towards the back post. Here's a mistake by Robertson, and Lacazette shoots. He scores! And just like that, it's 1-0 Arsenal on a horrible error there from Andy Robertson. Trying to clear that one away, swings right through the ball, gets underneath it, and it settles right into Lacazette's path, and his shot goes straight into the turf and bounces over Alisson's outstretched hand here. As we see finally a good combination play here from Arsenal. A great pass from Granit Xhaka, picks out Lacazette. He first times the ball out to Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles tries to pick out Willian on the far post, but Robertson tries to leave a short pass for Virgil van Dijk so they can play out of the back and miscues it horribly. It spins backwards beyond Van Dijk right into the path of Alexandre Lacazette. He hits it first time. It goes straight into the turf, and he kind of catches Alisson diving early on the shot. The ball bounces over Alisson's hand. He gets a finger to it, but not enough to redirect that ball outside of the goal mouth. And all of a sudden, really out of nothing, Arsenal lead this one 1-0 through Alexandre Lacazette. Liverpool going to restart this one. It's Mane in a duel with Rob Holding on the near touchline. Holding going to win out on that one, and he'll be able to clear this ball up the line. It's collected by Fabinho. Now we see Joe Gomez back to Alisson. This one going long right for Mo Salah. Collects it well. Has Tierney on his back. Looks across, but a poor pass there. Picked off by El Neni. El Neni looking for options. Will settle for the one next to him as Bellerin moving up the field. His attempted pass is deflected, but it will find Lacazette, who is coming back from an offsides position. The flag is raised against the Arsenal striker, and Liverpool will regain possession here. But this is another defensive error from Liverpool, who normally rely on a very reliable set of 4 defenders. Van Dijk, about as solid as it gets at the center back position, and Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have been really 2 of the standout outside backs in the Premier League and across Europe for the prior 2 seasons. Have had a few miscues here, although Salah now in the box taking a shot. It's deflected by Leno, but now it's Mane who scores, and just like that, it's all tied up at 1. Liverpool, their usual ruthless selves here, get one decent chance right after being scored on, and just like that, they are once again tied at 1. See here, good entry pass from Keita. Gets into a challenge with David Luiz, who kind of brings him down to the turf. You can see the foul is called, but play goes on as Salah continues onwards. Gets around Tierney. His shot is saved by Bernd Leno, but he doesn't quite get enough on it to push it outside of the danger zone. And Mane just waiting here at the back post. Gets an easy tap in, easiest goal he will ever score. And this is a classic Liverpool goal, just seizing on a mistake from the Arsenal defense as couple of the players maybe stopped playing, seeing that flag raised on the far touchline by the assistant referee there for the foul on David Luiz. Liverpool carries on. Salah does an excellent job using his body to get around Kieran Tierney, and his shot is only able to be parried right into the path of Mane. So another clinical, ruthless, and fast-paced Liverpool goal here will level this match at 1 on 28 minutes. You got to say, that is a gut punch for Arsenal here, who knew they were in for a tough match. They're gifted a goal by an Andy Robertson mistake after having essentially very little possession and essentially 0 chances for the entirety of the first 25 minutes of the match. A goal is presented to them on a golden platter. They take it. It's finished by Lacazette. They're up 1-0, and just a minute and a half later, Liverpool punish a mistake both by Tierney, David Luiz, and Bernd Leno, with Leno having really not able to get enough purchase on that initial save. And just like that, the lead for Arsenal evaporates. We're back on level pegging, so now Arsenal must do it once again, and all that momentum that would have been created from that goal, all of the encouragement disappears, and we're back to sort of where we were right before that, with Liverpool dominating possession. Not a ton of chances still for the Reds, but certainly the better of the two sides prior to Lacazette's opener. Now with all of the momentum eradicated, once again in controlled possession of the ball, it's with Van Dijk right now. All the way back to Alisson. Here's Gomez. Van Dijk looks up the field, doesn't see anything he likes. We'll move it over to Alexander-Arnold. Split pass into midfield, does connect here with Firmino, just escaping Xhaka. Firmino will look for Mane, but not quite on the same page there. Mane kind of bundling into Bellerin there. I believe it should be a foul there. Will be called. Actually, will just be a throw for Arsenal. Here's El Neni. Good combination play with Bellerin. He'll move this one inside of Robertson's challenge. Xhaka pressured at the top of the box. That one's actually poked off of him. But poked by a Liverpool player, and it will cross the end line for a goal kick. So 30 minutes into this match and been very, very energetic. Feel like I have not been able to stop talking here, as even in some of the spells of Liverpool's possession, they'll suddenly turn on the gas, either knocking one long, finding a good split pass, a good combination, and trying to come back on the attack. So they do once again here with Keita's pass, so it is intercepted, I believe, by Tierney. Poor pass there from Gomez will not connect with Alexander-Arnold, so Maitland-Niles will come away with it. Looks back for David Luiz. Over to Rob Holding now. Holding sets himself. Just look back for Luiz. Arsenal going to take their time in possession, maybe try to grab a breather, find the right pass, see if they can split Liverpool's pressure, but they do not. This one's actually given away by Granit Xhaka deep into their own half. And now Liverpool have possession once again. Alexander-Arnold out on the wing is forced to cut back by some good tracking from Aubameyang, and it's now with Gomez. Wijnaldum. Back to Van Dijk. Gomez is now out to Alexander-Arnold, and he has a little bit of room to work with here. Gonna loft this one forward for Keita. Does well to hold off El Neni. Looks to a cross. This one actually punched away by Leno, and the clearance is finished by Tierney, who will knock it out for a Liverpool throw, but this throw is still very deep into Arsenal territory here. So Alexander-Arnold will get onto this one. You can see how dangerous Liverpool are even when off the ball. Their pressure always stifling when that first pass is played into a midfielder or a wide defender. Alexander-Arnold will look back to Joe Gomez. Now Wijnaldum. Gomez out to Alexander-Arnold. Good flick pass into the path of Salah, but it's well read by Tierney. He'll get to that one first, but his clearance will only go out for a Liverpool throw. Here's Van Dijk. Wijnaldum sat deep here, almost into the defensive line. Gomez into Salah's feet. He's allowed to turn. Doesn't see a great option and just plays it back to Fabinho. Joe Gomez now. Here's Van Dijk. Alexander-Arnold forced back to Gomez. Here comes Williams streaking up the field to pressure. Does force Van Dijk into a long pass, but it's a brilliant pass right into the stride of Roberto Firmino. He'll hold this one up. Plays it into Salah's feet. Salah looks back to Alexander-Arnold. His cross towards the back post will find Robertson, who is open, and Robertson scores! And just like that, Liverpool take the lead. It's 2-1 here to the Reds over the Gunners here. An excellent pass from one outside back into the other, and Robertson will open his account for the season here. His first goal, flicking this one over the onrushing Leno. So we look at the replay here. We can see some patient play from Firmino and Salah. Salah inside the box here with 2 defenders. He looks back for Alexander-Arnold, who's wide open. His cross towards the back post just gets over the head of Bellerin, who's challenging Mane, who's come all the way in from the wing. This forces Bellerin in. He thinks that Mane is his man, and Andy Robertson sees the opportunity, streaks in behind the Arsenal right back. Willian is late in recovering. He brings down the cross on his chest and beats Leno to the ball, flicking that one over the onrushing Arsenal keeper. Excellent run and a tidy finish there from Andy Robertson will put Liverpool into this 2-1 lead on 34 minutes here. So just 10 minutes remaining in the half, and Liverpool now have the lead that you have to say they definitely deserve on the play in this first 35 minutes. Here they come again now. Robertson exchanging some passes with the midfielders. Will eventually find Firmino. Good tracking back from Aubameyang. Will win the ball back for Arsenal, but Fabinho comes out of a challenge with Granit Xhaka. Takes the ball with him. Now Alexander-Arnold shooting from deep. Doesn't quite get the connection he wants on this one. It sails high and to the left of Bernd Leno's goal there. Never really challenging the Arsenal goalkeeper. So Arsenal will be able to reset from this goal kick, but after finding themselves ahead 1-0 on that error from Robertson on the other end, trying to play a simple pass to Van Dijk inside of his own box. Just 7 minutes later, they find themselves trailing 2-1, conceding the first one just a minute and a half after they scored. So Liverpool never ones to take their foot off the gas pedal, back into the Arsenal box once again. This one cleared away by Tierney. They're able to overcome and turn around that deficit created by their own mistake in such a short period of time. And wouldn't you know it, Robertson, the man who made the mistake to allow Lacazette to score, is the man to crop up and score Liverpool's second to give them the lead in this match. Liverpool once again in possession now. Van Dijk, another great long pass out to the right. Will fall right to Alexander-Arnold's feet. He is forced back by some good defending from Aubameyang and Maitland-Niles. It's all the way back into the Liverpool defense now. Van Dijk has it once again. Just goes back to Alisson. Alisson will look for a bit of a chip pass in the midfield here. That one's won by David Luiz, but the second ball's picked up by Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum playing this one slow, just trying to see what options are in front of him. Playing passes back and forth between him and Robertson now himself. Van Dijk, he's forced back by Willian. Alisson with it. Joe Gomez, a couple yards to his right, but looking for something a little more extended. He'll play outside to Alexander-Arnold. Now into Fabinho. Fabinho with a looped pass, but it does connect with Keita. Keita will cut it back, kind of loses his balance there, and will lose out in the challenge with Aubameyang. Arsenal come away with it. Goes all the way back to Bernd Leno. This one comes out to Bellerin from Rob Holding. Goes straight back to Rob Holding, and now Leno under pressure, going to be forced to play this one long. It's an easily one ball. No Arsenal players even challenging Joe Gomez. He's able to bring it down on his chest, and now Liverpool coming again here. Good 1-2. Alexander-Arnold clipping this one in early. It's cleared away by David Luiz. The header from Maitland-Niles does get down to Granit Xhaka, and Arsenal have possession now on the far touchline. Comes inside to El Neni. Cross to Rob Holding. Ooh, and Rob Holding forced into a bad pass here. Here's Wijnaldum. Gets half poked away from him by Holding. Mane with it at the top of the box. Here's Robertson again, but great tracking back from Willian. Will spare the blushes of Rob Holding there as he gets his body in between Andy Robertson and the ball, and Robertson looking to shoot. Instead only clips Willian. Will be a foul against the Liverpool left back, and Arsenal will regain possession here. As you can see, the mistake by Holding leading to Mane with the ball at the top of the box. He tries to play Robertson in behind, but it's again Willian sprinting back there, getting in between Robertson and the ball. It's well done from the Arsenal right winger. Trying to help his defense out, as they have certainly struggled in the past 10 or so minutes with the Liverpool press whenever they have been on the ball, which still has only been in very sparing moments in this half. Liverpool back on this one. Van Dijk and Gomez once again playing between each other, waiting for some gaps to open up as Arsenal potentially pushes higher up the pitch to pressure. Goes all the way back to Alisson. Inside to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum turns, doesn't see anything he likes. Plays Fabinho. Good threaded pass from Fabinho into the feet of Salah. It does come back all the way to Gomez. Gomez will pick out Fabinho again. Liverpool very patient, very composed. Good entry pass into Mane's feet from Van Dijk. Here's Fabinho. Out wide to Alexander-Arnold. Arnold will cross here. Good clip pass into Firmino's path. He tries to chest that one onto the on-rushing Naby Keita, but Bernd Leno's alert to the danger there. Comes off his line to collect that one. So we see this clipped pass from Alexander-Arnold. Finds its way towards Firmino. Tries to leave it for... Sorry, that's Salah coming across. He tries to leave it for Salah off his chest, but just a little bit too far. And Leno, quick off of his line, they're able to collect that one for Arsenal. See, Liverpool have already easily doubled the amount of passes in this match that Arsenal have had. I think they were approaching or have just crossed tripling it. So Mane will bungle into the back of Granit Xhaka here for the foul. Mane does need to remember he is on a yellow card, earning that one in just the second minute for accidentally striking Kieran Tierney in the face with his arm. Can't be going into too many challenges in the backs of Arsenal players like that. And the referee asked David Luiz to back it up for this free kick, and so will just be taken short instead of being clipped into the box. But now Luiz will knock this one very long towards an on-rushing Maitland-Niles, whose first touch is poor. It looked like Maitland-Niles was in on goal there if he took a good touch, but unable to bring that one into under his control. And that touch will escape him and roll into Alisson's waiting hands. Another long pass from Arsenal. This one down to the feet of Lacazette. He'll collect it. Moves it out wide to Tierney. Tierney with two players defending him. It's Keita and and Alexander-Arnold. Now El Neni. Cross pass. We'll find Willian. Here's a cross from Willian. It's knocked away by Gomez. Comes out to the edge of the box, and the sliding challenge from Bellerin will knock that one out for a throw-in. Decent opportunity here for Arsenal as they finally get a ball across the face of goal there from Willian, but unfortunately for them, no one able to get on the end of it as we look at the replay here. Nice lofted pass in from David Luiz here. Looks like most of the Arsenal players are on sides. He picks out Maitland-Niles, who I think he tries to take this one down on the outside of his foot. And he does. And I think that's a bit of the mistake there for Maitland-Niles. Can just try to take that one down on your instep and shift it to your right foot so you can shoot with your right. But I understand trying to take that perfect touch. If you take that perfect touch with the outside of your right, you can immediately shoot with your right boot instead of your left and try to curl that one away from Alisson instead of hitting it with your left and having it curl towards the Liverpool goalkeeper. Meanwhile, Joe Gomez looking long for Sadio Mane, headed half away by Rob Holding, but he ends up gaining possession for Arsenal here, and they're now moving this one out of the back. Here's Maitland-Niles. His pass deflected by Keita will come all the way back to David Luiz. Cross to Holding. Into the feet of David Luiz. Just a minute remaining in regulation in this first half. Should have a couple minutes of stoppage time here. So David Luiz on top of this one. Looks inside to Willian, who's dropped deep. Willian shifting this one wide towards Holding.
And on the far touchline, Granit Xhaka taken down by Naby Keita. Arsenal will restart this one. 30 seconds remaining in regulation here in the first half as Rob Holding playing it back for David Luiz. Now Holding forced to play this one long. Van Dijk easily wins the header. The second ball collected by El Neni. He'll look wide, and here's Tierney now. Has an overlapping run coming around him from Maitland-Niles. Opts not to use it and instead looks all the way back for David Luiz. Sprays this one out to the near touchline here, but his pass overhit for Willian, and it will just bounce out of play there for a Liverpool goal kick. And depending on the stoppage time, could be one of the last actions we see in this half as we have reached the end of regulation here. We'll let you know what our stoppage time is when it is announced. 2 minutes. 2 minutes of stoppage time. 15 seconds into that 2 minutes as Liverpool can restart this one from the goal kick. A couple players from Arsenal high up the pitch here to try to pressure the Liverpool center backs. It will be knocked long by Alisson. That one is won by Rob Holding, and now Lacazette wins the header, goes down to the ground, but does get back up, and deflected pass from a Granit Xhaka. Looks like it'll come off his hand. I'm not sure if he's being called for a handball or a high boot there. Either way, a foul has been called on the Arsenal midfielder. It will be a free kick here. Joe Gomez on top of it, plays quickly out for Andy Robertson as we are now reaching the end of the 2 minutes of stoppage time. Van Dijk going to look long towards Salah, who once again uses his body to keep Tierney away from that one. It's very well done by Salah. Poor pass from Alexander-Arnold into the middle is picked off by El Neni. Combination play here from Arsenal. This one's actually poked off of Willian. He will win it back and now finds Bellerin. Good feet there, shifts inside of Roberto Firmino. He's forced back to David Luiz. Sorry, I was incorrect about reaching the end of stoppage time. Still do have 30 seconds remaining here. Misreading the clock there a little bit as David Luiz is going to look long with this one. Trying to pick out Aubameyang. He's not able to do so as Alexander-Arnold equal to that one. Gets the initial header and then the full clearance. And now Liverpool throw on the far touchline. And with 10 seconds remaining in the first half. This may just bring it to a conclusion. Alexander-Arnold will throw this one in. Referee will put his whistle to his mouth and blow for halftime. So that will do it for our first half of play here. The teams will go into the locker room with Liverpool leading Arsenal 2-1. Goal scoring opened by Alexander Lacazette on 25 minutes after that error from Andy Robertson. But Liverpool very quick to pull one back on 28 minutes as Sadio Mane, the beneficiary of good work by Mo Salah on the far touchline. His shot can only be pushed into the path of Mane by Bernd Leno. It's an easy tap in by Mane, and then Robertson, definitely responsible for Lacazette's goal, is the one to crop up on the far post for Alexander-Arnold's cross and able to finish that one in the 34th minute, giving Liverpool the lead as we head to halftime here. So that will do it for our first half coverage. We'll be joining you after some of these commercial messages. I'm going to go out of broadcasting mode. All right, so pretty energetic first half. It's a lot of talking for me. There's a lot of teams in the league that, when they're in possession, they shift it side to side, and that's nothing new to see. You take time to find the right opportunities. You take time to move the ball forward. But I tell you what, man, when Liverpool turn it on, they move so quickly. I can just be saying Gomez and Van Dijk are doing their thing, and then I'll try to move into a point about something so I can not just be play by playing two center backs passing it between each other, and all of a sudden Van Dijk's launching some 30-yard ball perfectly into Salah's feet, or Gomez is finding a split pass. It's just when Liverpool turn it on, man, they go so quick. It goes so quick, and they're so sharp. And man, oh man, is Salah good, dude. Every time, keep your eyes on Salah when Van Dijk plays these balls to him. So first of all, Van Dijk is playing them perfectly. He's playing them where, if you're a striker, you want them to be. Closer to the touchline, high enough away from the defender that he can't head it away. You can see Salah just using his body, right? It's coming inside a little bit, turning, so his back is to Kieran Tierney and then using his left foot or the space of the field to let the ball run and then collect it and then just like turn back inside. And that's just great attacking play. And he's used his body so well all day today to like shield Tierney off of him. He did it for the build up to the goal there as he ran around Tierney. Just really, really well done by him. And, you know, obviously a big mistake by Andy Robertson on the goal for Lacazette. But other than that, like, Liverpool just looked so sharp. Whenever they have full control, full possession, and whenever they like flick the switch, they're going, right? And even if they're not generating chances, they look dangerous. It's energetic. There's combination play, and they're attempting good passes, right? Alexander-Arnold always willing to cross. Someone always willing to try to flick a ball in behind, trusting their teammates to make runs. It's good stuff. If you're Arsenal, you're pretty disappointed because you had that lead kind of gifted to you, and then you gave it up so quickly, and I think caught a little bit unawares maybe when that flag was raised for it was a foul on David Luiz, but they went play on, and I think that kind of caught a couple Arsenal players like a half step expecting the foul, and that was all Salah needed to like get into the box, and then Leno can't do enough with his shot. It falls to Mane, and then all the wind is just right out of your sails if you're Arsenal, because now you got to go back to being level with Liverpool, who have clearly been outplaying you, and then just a little bit later, Alexander-Arnold finds Robertson on that cross, and that is poor communication. This is, I think, what happens on this second goal for Liverpool. If you're watching the replay right now of the highlights, just watch what Bellerin does, because Mane cuts inside to like be an option for the cross, right? And there are 3 Liverpool attackers, there are 3 Arsenal defenders. One of the Liverpool attackers is wide, it's Salah, right? And so watch what Bellerin does. He comes inside with Mane instead of handing him off to Holding, right? And he doesn't need to do that. If you look at where the Liverpool players are, he doesn't need to. He can hand him off to Holding and hold the space, and he doesn't turn his head, and Robertson sees the opportunity brilliantly. He runs in behind behind Bellerin, and by the time Willian realizes that there's been a breakdown in communication between his defenders and that nobody's told him to pick up Robertson, it's too late. And Robertson takes his touch, flicks it in over Leonard here. I'm gonna wait for the replay actually if people are watching it. So I will say, in the build-up to Arsenal's goal was actually good. That was like the best build-up Arsenal had all game. Great pass in from Xhaka, breaks 2 lines, the midfield line and the forward line, gets it into Lacazette's feet, and he makes a nice one-time ball out to Maitland-Niles. So that was Arsenal's best play, but Arsenal just haven't had any of the ball. And again, this is kind of why it was weird. And like I expected, Arteta has definitely set them up to have extra help in midfield. You know, the outside wing backs are not playing super aggressively positioned like you might see Brighton do, or see someone like Man City do. So they're going through this Salah goal, man. That's so good. So they're positioning deep. Here's the replay. So watch. So you see where he goes with Mane. Holding doesn't have anyone on him, right? Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. As you watch this, Bellerin, Holding can leave Wijnaldum to David Luiz, and David Luiz drops in, picks him up. Holding is not marking anyone. Bellerin can leave that leave Mane for Holding, and drop off and pay attention to what's behind him, and he doesn't do it, right? That's poor defending. It's bad communication. It's a good finish by Robertson. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what Arteta does here, because it's a tricky situation, because you have those 2 midfielders, right? Xhaka and El Neni. And notice that I have not called either of their names very often. And that's because they are mostly being used to cover space in defense, but they can't win the ball back. Because Liverpool have 3 midfielders to their 2 in the central spaces. And so you would want either Maitland-Niles or Bellerin to kind of suck in there and help close down space. But if they're not positioned literally in the midfield, you're not going to take the ball off of Liverpool's midfielders, right? And so Liverpool can just be composed. They're moving it side to side. They're moving it in deep between Fabinho and Wijnaldum and waiting for a gap to open up. Typically, a gap between someone like Maitland-Niles and Xhaka in that space between them, right? You play it in there, in front of that 3 defender line, whether it's a striker checking back or one of the wingers coming in or an outside back like Alexander-Arnold, right? They can suck into that space. And then if it's a striker dropping in, they can drag a defender with him who's going to pressure them and then just let the outside back like Alexander-Arnold just overlap, right? So it's a bit of an issue, I think. And again, this 3-back set was set up more to like hold the ball. Like Luiz is not an anchor of a 3-man back unless, in my opinion, you have the ball. And they don't have the ball. They haven't had the ball all half. Liverpool just are holding it because they are confident playing with it. They are excellent in possession. And again, they have an extra midfielder most of the time. So they're just holding possession and waiting for their chances and then pressuring Arsenal high when they have the ball. And with only a 3-4-3 instead of like a 3-5-2, right? Arsenal have 3 players high. They're kind of forced to play these like long passes when Liverpool apply good pressure. And they're not connecting with them super well. And they're playing them not because they want to. They're playing them because they kind of have to. So we'll see if there's any tactical change from Arteta or structural change. But I think for this shape to be successful, they need to get on the ball more and let Luiz kind of like drive forward and kind of drive possession, but they just haven't been able to do it. And it's a little weird because Liverpool is like the one team in the entire Premier League that like you kind of question whether you want to play out of the back or not because they are easily the best team at pressuring other teams. Like they are so good at pressuring the enemy team. And when you make a mistake while you're playing out of the back, that's when Liverpool punish you. They run in behind you and Salah Mane destroy you. They destroy you, right? And so I just am a little weirded out that Arsenal would kind of set up in a way that makes me think they want to play possession when you really don't want to play possession. Maybe they just want, maybe the thing I'm not seeing is maybe he wants David Luiz to like be able to play these longer passes into their 3 strikers. But we haven't seen a lot of that. And we haven't really seen our Arsenal on the ball at all. And we haven't really seen them running in behind. So I think they need to get on the ball a little bit more, which is a tricky thing to ask. It's like a very simplistic solution. But there are ways to like take steps towards that, whether that's where you position your players or who you bring in. And I think Arteta needs to kind of address that at half here because I don't think they have, like, even you can win games without having the ball, but you have to have it at some point and you have to make it, you have to be useful with it when you have it. And I really don't even think Arsenal have enough of the ball to be like useful with it at this point. Like they've had one good set of play, that one build up to the goal that shouldn't have even been a goal because Robertson just made a terrible mistake. So we'll see what Arteta does. I do think a couple things need to change here because I think Liverpool have just been so much better than them. But see how it goes. I'm going to go grab a drink. I will be right back with you guys. Thanks again for tuning in and hope you're enjoying it so far. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of funny. I walked out to go get my water. My roommate's in the kitchen. He's a big Liverpool fan. We're kind of like talking about what's going on. And it's just like, yeah. How many times have Arsenal like touched the ball this match? And I was like, I don't know, like 12. So what do you do? Is this the kind of conversation I would like love to have with the manager, or like really any top manager, even in like MLS? It's like, what do you do, right? Like that's kind of like, you know, as a broadcaster, I proffer up these like, oh, they need to make changes or this and that, but right? These are like the big money questions, right? You're Arsenal, you're getting bossed right now by Liverpool. You can't get on the ball. You've set yourself up in a 3-4-3 to try to have an attacking presence, right? You want all three of your best strikers available to score the probably you would expect to be limited opportunities. You set yourself up in a 3-4-3 instead of a 3-5-2, which you know gives you midfield. When I say inferiority, I don't mean like necessarily like worse midfielders. I just mean like you have less numbers in midfield, right? So you're setting yourself up for midfield inferiority simply by literally the positioning of your players. You're supposed to kind of have a wing advantage because you have 4 across instead of the 3 in midfield, and your 3 strikers should pin back their defenders, allowing your other 2 people to have space. But that it doesn't bear out in practice all the time. Because again, one of those wide midfielders, number 1, is usually tasked with being some sort of help to the midfield duo. Because if you don't give that help, not only does it become hard, not only does it go from being almost impossible to take the ball off of Liverpool, it becomes really, really difficult to cover space, right? Block passing angles, etc. And so that player then often has to get wide when you have the ball, and by the time you get wide, well, now Liverpool have adjusted. Their midfield can spread out wide and try to defend you, cut down the angles, right? Their midfielders, their wide forwards can track back. And so these are like the big money questions, right? Is how do you, with this team that you've set out there in a 3-4-3, how do you get on the ball, or how do you apply any sort of pressure, right? Do you hit it long and try to let your forwards run on and apply pressure? Do you try to play into Lacazette and see if you can draw fouls and play around? And we're restarting the match, so I'm going to get out of theoretical mode here. But these are the kind of questions that fascinate me as a broadcaster and a soccer fan, and that's kind of part of the reason I love doing this sort of thing, is like thinking about those big answers. I really wonder what's going through Arteta's head at halftime. But we're back in the match, so I will hop off of personal mode and back into broadcaster mode, and I will catch you at full time for opinions on the match. So here is Arsenal starting out with possession in this half. It's David Luiz under pressure from Mo Salah. Going to knock this one with his left foot up the touchline. It goes only as far as Alexander-Arnold, but uncharacteristic poor touch there from the Liverpool right back. We'll see that one out for an Arsenal throw. Short here from Tierney. He's forced to immediately clear this one. Gomez goes up from the header, and Alexander-Arnold comes away with the loose ball. It's all the way back to Alisson. And we'll see if this is more of the same from Liverpool in possession as it was in the first half. Van Dijk once again on the ball. A little bit more aggressive closeout this time from Aubameyang. But Alisson with a great stretch pass out to Firmino. Does connect with him, but Firmino does lose out to some pressure from both David Luiz and the retreating El Neni. Arsenal now with it. The way the first half was going, you don't want to get rid of it lose it that quickly. But here's a good ball from David Luiz, and this may be why the team was set up by Arteta for those kind of sprayed passes out to these 3 forwards. Good combination play by Arsenal on top of the box, but eventually forced back by Naby Keita to David Luiz. Here's Tierney now penetrating inside, but his pass out wide for Maitland-Niles is picked off by Alexander-Arnold. Now it comes away with Wijnaldum. He has some room for Mane, and Mane has some room to run here at David Luiz. Has one in support as Firmino. He's going to take a shot instead. I believe that was deflected by Holding. We'll see if that is the case. Take a look at the replay here. Alexander-Arnold's pass deflected. Here's Wijnaldum. He sees all the space for Mane, and Mane's first touch is pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of help, so he just decides to take this one on from the far corner of the 18-yard box with his left foot as we look at the replay here. Yeah, I actually don't even think there was a deflection there. Just didn't quite get the connection. So good tracking back by the Arsenal players to force him, Mane, into a tough decision there. Not allow him truly in behind. And here's Tierney now under pressure from Salah. Turns back inside, looks up the line. His pass almost connects with Aubameyang, but does not quite get there. And here's Fabinho. Looks inside for Mane, who's checking in from the wing. We'll just go backwards to Andy Robertson. And Liverpool will reset. No overlap there from the outside backs. Not a lot of options for Mane. Alexander-Arnold, good first-time pass inside to Salah, but his pass does not connect with Keita. Arsenal come away with it, but again, quickly forced into a clearance is Tierney. Does look like he got clipped by a Liverpool player there, and it looks like the yellow card is out, probably for Mo Salah here. No, it's Alexander-Arnold actually stepping into that challenge. Oh, and yeah, it does come down pretty hard there on the foot of Tierney after he's cleared that one away, and that one's going to hurt. Metal cleats do not feel good on the top of your foot there. So yellow card for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He will join Sadio Mane in the book for Liverpool, and Arsenal will restart this one. Here's another long pass from David Luiz, another excellent one. This one connecting with Aubameyang, who's open. Good ball on top of the box here to Lacazette. Here's a shot from Maitland-Niles. Doesn't get the connection he wants, but Arsenal still have it. It's Willian out to Bellerin, who's pressured by Robertson. Forced back to Willian. There's three Liverpool players here defending. Good cross in from Willian. That one headed away at the near post by Van Dijk. Cleared the rest of the way by Fabinho. Settled by Granit Xhaka. He tries to get in between a couple Liverpool players, but loses out. Now Firmino looking for Salah. Oh, miscommunication there. Salah thought the ball would be played in deep behind. It was played into his feet instead. Now here's Aubameyang looking for the run of Maitland-Niles, but Joe Gomez equal to this one. Will play it off of Maitland-Niles, and it looks like it will be a Liverpool goal kick. So a little bit of a better start here to the half for Arsenal, and I think you can kind of start to see maybe why Arteta set his team up the way he has. David Luiz has played two excellent balls out to either one of the left or right-hand strikers here. One to Aubameyang, the other one to Willian, and those two balls gave them a little bit of room to work. They did still have a defender in front of them, but didn't have two or three closing them down right away. So it may be what Arsenal's looking for with those three strikers and Luiz in the center of this three-defender combination. Try to get it out to those players and try to kind of use a sort of quick attack by skipping the midfield line entirely. Liverpool, though, back in possession of this one after the restart from Arsenal. Mane winning out in a challenge with El Neni. He's now into the box. Here's Firmino crossing for Salah. It's well read by Kieran Tierney. He will knock that one out with his right foot. Will be a Liverpool throw. Quickly taken here. Robertson combining with Wijnaldum. He's looking for some options here, but just forced to retreat by El Neni. Goes all the way back to Van Dijk. He's going to look across the field to the right once again. Another great ball for Alexander-Arnold. First time cross. It's chested down by David Luiz. Very composed there from the Arsenal center back, but can't say the same for the other two players that got the ball afterwards, and believe that one just cleared out by Xhaka for another Liverpool throw-in. Some pressure from Willian onto Van Dijk, and Gomez will look wide to Keita. He'll look inside for Fabinho. Still good patient play from Liverpool here. They're two of their midfielders and their center backs. There's another driven ball from Van Dijk. This one not hit very well, and that goes straight to Rob Holding, who will collect it. Finds the feet of David Luiz, but he's closed down quickly by Mo Salah. El Neni combining with Bellerin. It goes back to Holding. He'll go all the way across to Kieran Tierney. He's able to face up, asking for some early help there. Doesn't get it, and is forced back to David Luiz. Here's David Luiz once again. Out to Tierney. Look inside here. We'll flick it wide as Xhaka. Still trying to work it out of the same area of the pitch here. This bottom left part of your screen. So now Holding screwing up here, and Mane has taken it off him. He's inside the box looking for an option. We'll look for the overlap of Robertson. His cross is blocked by Holding, so Holding doing enough there to make up for the initial mistake as he got caught in possession with Mane closing him down. And as we've talked about, you can see how suffocating this Liverpool pressure can be. Holding not seeing any options right away and taking too much time on the ball, and Mane eventually closing him down, stripping him of that possession. It's Liverpool from the throw-in. We'll just go back to Virgil van Dijk and across to Joe Gomez. Alexander-Arnold cutting inside. Decent pressure there from Aubameyang will force him back to Gomez. He'll go all the way back to Alisson. Gomez will take it off the feet of Alisson. He's asking Alexander-Arnold to spread out wide here. There's another crossfield pass from Van Dijk. This one finally read by Tierney and intercepted with the head. A scuffle for possession there between Maitland-Niles and Alexander-Arnold will result in an Arsenal throw-in. Good reading there by Tierney to win that crossfield pass from Van Dijk. Again, the Dutch defender has been excellent at those passes here today. That one of the few that has not connected. Willian checking in for this one. Going to look long into Lacazette. Tries to take that one down, but the touch is a little bit too long and will escape him. Does eventually end up at the feet of El Neni, who sends it out towards Bellerin. Bellerin forced back immediately by Wijnaldum. It goes all the way back to Bernd Leno. Has David Luiz to his left. Luiz on his left foot, going to clip this one up the field. Easily won by Joe Gomez and settled by Alexander-Arnold. Now looking inside, this one going to escape Fabinho actually. Taken away by El Neni. Decent amount of Arsenal shirts up in this attack as Bellerin has it now. Faced up with Andy Robertson. Going to cross early, looking for the back post. Alexander-Arnold heads away. Doesn't get too far, and retreating Mo Salah there will take it away as it was headed for Aubameyang. Intended pass for Sadio Mane is intercepted by Holding, but Liverpool do end up with possession. This one knocked down for Firmino. Tries to take it away from Bellerin. Will succeed in doing so. It's now with Mane. He's driving forward. Doesn't quite get on top of that one as David Luiz will poke it away. Eventually falls to the feet of Virgil van Dijk, and Liverpool will settle it once again. Move it wide to Andy Robertson. Possession is all the way back in the defensive line for Liverpool once again. Finds its way to Jorginho Wijnaldum. Fabinho out to Robertson. Gomez. Alexander-Arnold. Good pressure there from Maitland-Niles. Forces him back to Alisson. Alisson pressured by Aubameyang, but just not quite quickly enough. He does get a good connection with Jorginho Wijnaldum, and now Liverpool getting themselves up the field. Robertson is forced to turn back. And it will just be a reset of this attack for Liverpool. It's all the way back with the center backs now out to Alexander-Arnold. Does have some time to get his head up here. Keita. Alexander-Arnold across for Van Dijk. Inside to Wijnaldum. All the way back to Alisson, who just sends it right back out to Andy Robertson. Into Fabinho, and Liverpool just taking their time, holding possession. Good entry pass from Fabinho, though, into Mane. Now Liverpool have some room to work here. Clipped pass in towards Keita. Header initially won by Holding, cleared the rest of the way by David Luiz. Lacazette comes all the way back to try to win the header. Claims he's been shoved over, but play will continue. Referee doesn't look interested at all, and Liverpool once again have possession. Wijnaldum out to Robertson. Van Dijk. Alexander-Arnold. Gomez. Gonna look long to the left. Robertson picks him out very well. Robertson head up, crosses deep towards the back post, but it's a little bit too lofted. Bernd Leno able to come out and catch that one fairly easily. We'll roll out to El Neni here. Immediate pressure from Liverpool, but it's played through well by Arsenal. Willian finds himself with a little bit of space on the wing, but a great tackle from Fabinho. And Liverpool will come away with this one, and Willian stays down, clutching his backside, actually. Liverpool actually going to knock this one out for the injured Brazilian here. Not sure exactly what happened here as we look back at this challenge. It is a clean challenge from the side of Fabinho, and I think Willian just kind of goes down straight onto his backside there. Just may have hit his tailbone directly on the turf. Yeah, he is holding that area. It's like Fabinho and Willian, fellow countrymen there. Fabinho just asking if Willian is all right, if maybe it was his tackle that resulted in the injury. Looks like Willian letting him know it just kind of fell pretty hard on the turf there. Liverpool will resume play here. Ball's on the left touchline. Good back heel from Mane into the path of Fabinho, driving forward. Going to look wide, but good tracking back from Alexandre Lacazette will do enough there to break up the attack from Liverpool. And now Arsenal have a chance to come away with it to their own end. Here's a good slip pass into Lacazette. I do think he's going to be offsides in the extended play. Here's a chance to finish. He tries to clip it over Alisson, but will not do so. And finally, the flag has come up on the far side from the assistant referee. Play will be allowed to resume as Liverpool just took it extremely quickly. I think Lacazette always had a feeling he was offsides, electing to go for the audacious finish attempt there, the clip over Alisson. Here is Joe Gomez. Out wide to Alexander-Arnold. Going to launch this one into the path of Mane. Will connect with him. It's a good first touch. Decent defending from Holding, though. Will poke that one off of Mane. He'll knock it out for a Liverpool throw. So just about to tick over the hour mark here. You can see Arsenal getting ready to make their first change. It looks like Dani Ceballos has been summoned here by Mikel Arteta. And Granit Xhaka will be the player sacrificed on the hour mark here. Ceballos certainly more of an attacking option than Xhaka. So we'll be looking to chase this one, get a little bit more of a robust attack, and Ceballos will come on. Probably a like-for-like swap. No need to change the formation. We'll see if there are any additional changes made here by Arteta soon, as at 60-minute mark, typically when managers look to impact the match. So Naby Keita not able to control this one. It will go out for an Arsenal throw-in. Here's Tierney into Aubameyang, who will launch this one forward. Good battle by Lacazette, but he comes up second best to Joe Gomez. Gomez's clearance actually stays in play, and now Salah's in behind Tierney here, driving into the box. He's going to shoot it, will deflect off Tierney, and eventually comes off of El Neni's head. Maitland-Niles trying to get it back to Ceballos. He loses out to Salah. Keita has it now. Mane, far corner of the box, looks in behind for Keita, but Holding is alert to the danger there and clears that one away for another Liverpool throw-in. Robertson now taking this one. Looks short to Fabinho, gets it back, and will reset the possession to Van Dijk. Van Dijk actually going to look for a shot from 30 out. Gets a good skip right in front of Bernd Leno, but Leno equal to it, able to parry that one away outside of the box. And then a skewed clearance from Maitland-Niles as we take a look at this shot from Van Dijk. It's good contact on it. Excellent technique landing on the shooting foot there. Just kind of keeping it low, making Leno save it off of the bounce. But Leno sees that one all the way and is able to parry that one out of any sort of dangerous area. So good from both sides. It was always going to be difficult for Van Dijk to score from that distance. And now one of his patented cross-field balls here intercepted by Maitland-Niles, and Arsenal have come away with it. Good move by El Neni to escape some pressure in midfield, and it's come all the way across to the right-hand side. Bellerin now. Back to Ceballos. Fresh and juice. Here's a great ball in behind for Lacazette. He's onside this time and cannot finish. It's an excellent save from Alisson, blocking that one from the French striker, keeping this a Liverpool lead. Now Aubameyang on the left-hand side here will look back to Tierney. He's going to cross this one in towards Lacazette. Header easily won by Van Dijk. It bounces out to Ceballos. Here's some good extended pressure from Arsenal for probably the first time in the entire match. Another great pass here from Tierney. Aubameyang now with some room to run on the left. You're going to cross early. Doesn't quite get the contact he wanted, and that one loops up and over the on-rushing, I believe, Bellerin at the back post and goes out for a goal kick. As we look at the replay here, it's an excellent pass in behind for Ceballos. Trent Alexander-Arnold certainly holding Lacazette on there. Lacazette takes a touch to set it up with his right foot, but Alisson reads it all the way, gets a solid save. His arm in a great position there, blocks that one away, and the chance goes begging there for Lacazette to pick up his second and level this match at 2 goals apiece. And now Liverpool moving the other way. Good defending from Maitland-Niles will actually be able to take this one off of Keita. Ceballos coming the other way, and he is stripped by a retreating Bobby Firmino. Now Alexander-Arnold will find Keita, and Ceballos will have to chase him once more, but pass comes back to Fabinho. Now here's Wijnaldum. Into Mane. Battling with Holding. Here's Keita. Shuffles this one past Lacazette into the path of Mane. Good pass in. Here it comes to Mane. Now tries to swivel and just goes wide of the goal. On the left side, Mane trying a very acrobatic swivel here to try to get this one on target. As we see the replay here, comes into Mane. He shifts through a couple of challenges. It's a 1-2 with Firmino that deflects off of Tierney, and Mane kind of forced to turn around there. Instead of taking it with his right, the ball is behind him, so he swivels his entire body to try to take it off his left. He doesn't quite get the contact, and that one sprays just to the left side of that post of Rob Holding's right-hand post. And play will resume here from the goal kick. Liverpool going to win the second ball. It falls to the feet of Fabinho. Now here's Wijnaldum out to Robertson. Keita cropping up on the left-hand touchline here. Wijnaldum. Van Dijk into Fabinho. Liverpool just knocking this one around, taking their time to have it in a pretty deep position here as Mane defended by 2 players. Will come all the way back out from Liverpool. Continue to string passes together here. Now Robertson with some time to cross, looks in for Firmino, just over hits him there. It's cleared away by Tierney. Second ball is once again won by Liverpool, and they will reset their attack once again. Good entry pass from Van Dijk, finds the feet of Keita, but he is forced back to Gomez. Gomez now out wide to Salah, looks inside to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He will play it all the way back to Van Dijk, who will pick out Robertson. Firmino dropped about 20 yards deep from his striking position. Joe Gomez. Now Mane driving inside. He's knocked off of that ball by Willian, but judged to be unfairly by the referee. Will be a free kick to Liverpool. About 35 yards out from the goal here, just on the just outside the corner of the 18-yard box. As we can see, it looks like Eddie Nketiah getting ready. Oh, sorry, that is Pepe, sorry. Getting ready to be subbed on here. Liverpool going to be sending their 2 outside backs to stand over this one. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. Free kick from Robertson. Does not beat the first man there. Good defensive header by Lacazette. Keita will collect this one. Robertson with a second try will clip this one towards the far post. That one's won by Bellerin. Knocked away further by Ceballos, and now Aubameyang with some room to run, going to try to push it past Fabinho. Fabinho does a good job trying to get his body in front of Aubameyang there, and the referee has deemed that a fair challenge, and play will continue here. So great defending by Fabinho, and now on the other end of things, Mane is pretty cynically taken down by Bellerin there as Mane let the ball run through his legs, definitely catching out Hector Bellerin there, and Bellerin will go in the book here. I believe the first Arsenal player to have his name taken down. So we'll have to go for the remaining 23 minutes of the match here on that caution. Yeah, looking at the replay, you can see Mane deciding to let that one run. Bellerin completely on top of him. Realizes he may be in trouble and just drags him down. And comparing it to the one that Aubameyang was complaining about just beforehand, Fabinho definitely did a better job of trying to insert his body in between Aubameyang and the ball, although I do think one could still make a pretty fair argument that you could have called that foul on Fabinho for obstructing Aubameyang's path to the ball. Nevertheless, Liverpool back in the attack here. Here is Robertson crossing into the box. It comes off of Keita, but he doesn't find it. It's cleared away, and looks like there will be a foul called here on a Liverpool player. Looks like Ceballos is the Arsenal man rising to his feet. Arsenal will restart play here. So Willian is the man to be substituted for Pepe here. Coming on then in that right forward position. Here's David Luiz. Yeah, pretty dangerous game here with Rob Holding. And Rob Holding's pass once again intercepted by Mane. Tries to come through the back of Salah. Doesn't get the ball. Here's Keita. Mane taking on Bellerin. This time Bellerin doing a much better job defending it. Stays in play. Mane pokes it past Ceballos. He shoots. But Leno's alert to it and will catch that one. Very tight angle that... Oof. Huge body check here from Naby Keita. Straight away apologizes to Danny Ceballos. Helps him up. That was arriving a bit late to the challenge was Keita on that one. So Arsenal did resume play fairly quickly there. Here's El Neni moving this one over to Rob Holding. David Luiz sets himself up, looking long for the right pass. We'll clip this one long left. The run does not connect from Aubameyang, and that one will dribble out for a throw-in. As we look back here once again at the chance for Lacazette. Sorry, this is the earliest one when he was offsides running through. Went for a pretty cheeky chip, but I think he did know he was offsides. This one is the chance. Definitely onside on the replay, held on by Alexander-Arnold. And while his first touch is decent to get it onto his right foot, it allows Alisson to close the space. And really a pretty poor effort there from Lacazette. Hit a pretty chunky part of Alisson's arm and never really looked like scoring on that opportunity. So this again remains 2-1 Liverpool as we have crested the 70-minute mark here. So 20 minutes remaining in regulation with a couple minutes of stoppage time probably still to come, as Mane doing an excellent job to bring this clearance down and hold up possession. Now Firmino defended well by David Luiz. He's forced off the ball and Arsenal will come away with it. Here's Hector Bellerin. Going to clip this one, try to clip it over. Robertson does not succeed. Now Robertson inside to Fabinho. He'll drive forward. This one coming all the way back to Wijnaldum now to Gomez. Joe Gomez out to Alexander-Arnold. Again, Liverpool patiently building up possession here. It's out to Robertson. First touch combines well with Mane. Looks back inside to him. Mane tries to clip this one into the box for Salah, but gets on the end of his own pass and then kind of shoved down to the ground by Danny Ceballos. And it will be a free kick to Liverpool here just outside the 18-yard box. near the goal line. It looks like Ceballos will also go into the book. He has cut a bit of a frustrated figure with some of these fouls since coming on, waving his hands around every time a Arsenal player goes down and appealing to the referee on essentially every call. So potentially a bit of potentially wearing the referee's patience a little thin as well, and he will find himself as the second Arsenal player in the book here, just about 8 minutes after his, or sorry, just about 12 minutes after his introduction into the match. So Liverpool now with a pretty dangerous set piece here. Alexander-Arnold runs over it. Robertson towards the back post, looking for Van Dijk. Doesn't quite win out on the header. It looks like Tierney went up and won that one. Now a foul will be called on a Liverpool player in the Arsenal box. And Arsenal will be able to regain possession, try to move out of their areas. We look back at this replay. Good initial header by Tierney, and then Lacazette looks like just kind of jumping over his own player, but referee deeming it to be a foul on a Liverpool man. Looks like Salah and Arteta going to make his final change here. Eddie Nketiah will come on. Lacazette has come off, so that is the last change Arteta can make here today, trying to give the young striker another chance. Did score the winner against West Ham last week, so it's already showed he can be clutch in an Arsenal jersey. We'll see if he can do it here again, as Arsenal still trailing 2-1. Early goal from Lacazette off of the mistake from Robertson, followed up by the tap-in from Mane, and the good run and finish from Andy Robertson to give Liverpool the lead in the 34th minute. Liverpool playing this one out of the back here. Pass up the line by Robertson does escape. Mane will go out for an Arsenal throw. You can see Lacazette beside himself on the bench. He knows what an excellent opportunity he had to level the match. Did not take that one. Arsenal throw is won by Liverpool, and now Salah has some room to run here. Sees the run of Firmino, will pick him out. It's an excellent sliding challenge from Ainsley Maitland-Niles there on the retreat, able to poke that one out of the path of Roberto Firmino. Now Arsenal have possession back. Good back heel by Ceballos. Will pick out Bellerin. He rides a couple challenges there from Mane, and Keita will spray it wide for Maitland-Niles. Has some room to run here. Alexander-Arnold there and will block Maitland-Niles' attempted cross, and now he will be forced all the way back to David Luiz. Here's Ceballos trying to pick up the pace of this match. Will ride Keita's challenge. Has played Nketiah in behind. Here comes Alisson. He will beat Nketiah to that ball and makes an excellent pass up to Wijnaldum. Now Mane going the other way. Two players defending him as El Neni retreats. Tries to cross this one for Firmino. He does. He shoots. That one's deflected and will go out for a corner kick to Liverpool. Some excellent play there from both sides. Ceballos trying to pick up the pace for the Arsenal side. Riding a couple challenges. Plays a good through ball to Nketiah, but Alisson quickly off of his line there. And instead of just clearing it away, also makes a great 25-yard pass into the feet of Wijnaldum, who's able to turn and start that Liverpool counterattack that ends with a nice ball out to Firmino, who finds his shot deflected at that back post, and it does go out for a corner kick. Van Dijk giving some directions to Alexander-Arnold here as to where he wants it. Will be Alexander-Arnold on the set play. Goes in towards Leno, and I believe Van Dijk will be called for a foul here on Leno as he came out to try to catch that one. So nothing doing for Liverpool on this particular corner, and Arsenal will be able to clear their lines once again. Yeah, just putting the body into Leno before the keeper had a chance to catch that one, and pretty simple call there for the referee. So here's Arsenal restarting match. 75 minutes played here, 15 remaining in regulation. He's holding once again on this one. We'll just be forced to clear it by the onrushing Salah. It's collected by the feet of Van Dijk. He'll clip this one forward. Header won by Holding. Brought down by Ceballos. Now Arsenal in possession. Bellerin will look to switch the play here. Finds Tierney on the left-hand side. Goes over to Maitland-Niles. Aubameyang, though, just goes back to Tierney here. It's now into El Neni. Shifts this over to Ceballos. Ceballos going to loft this one over the back line. It's an excellent pass here, but Robertson showing a turn of pace, able to get back and in front of Bellerin. However, it does come off of him for a Arsenal corner kick here. So good opportunity for the Gunners to try to get level here as Pepe will run up to take this one. From the far corner will be an in-swinging corner kick with his left foot. All the big men up here for Arsenal trying to surround Alisson. Here comes the corner kick. It's driven low into the near post, and a sliding challenge will clear that one away for Liverpool. Once again, an Arsenal throw. Bellerin throws it in short to El Neni. And adjudged for a bad throw by the referee. That is not one that you see very often. And Bellerin with a little bit of egg on his face here as he tries to get play restarted quickly. Instead will concede the throw-in over to Liverpool. See two changes getting ready to be made here for Liverpool. We can see James Milner and brand new signing Diogo Jota, freshly brought in from Wolves for a fee of about £42 million here, will be introduced for his Liverpool debut. So Sadio Mane, wearing the captain's armband today, will be withdrawn in favor of Jota, and Naby Keita will be coming off for Milner as well. So two changes made by Klopp here as we approach the 80-minute mark. Milner being sent on here. Hands that armband over to Mane. Hands that armband over to Milner. Now Diogo Jota to make his Liverpool debut here. Running on over to the left wing. Klopp giving some final comments to Sadio Mane, potentially about one of the prior attacks that they had. Joe Gomez doing a nice job here, evading a couple of challenges, picking out the newly introduced Milner. Some good combination play here down the left. And here's Jota with his first touch, driving at David Luiz. Sees Wijnaldum, fakes the pass, looks across for Salah. That one intercepted by Maitland-Niles. Cleared away only as far as Robertson now. He'll look out wide. Instead goes back to Fabinho. Salah under pressure. Goes back to Gomez. Now out wide to Alexander-Arnold. Time and room to look. Decides not to cross this one. Instead, plays it back to Gomez, and Liverpool will reset this attack. Here's Robertson. Sees the run of Milner. Instead, opts for the shorter pass to Jota. Jota holds off Pepe well with his body. Then gets the ball stripped of him by Ceballos. Gets back in there, and the ball will come off of Jota for a throw-in to Arsenal. Bellerin, this time not with a bad throw-in, finds Rob Holding. He will toe poke that one over to Bernd Leno. And wow, Bernd Leno's pass almost deflected there by Salah right in front of the goal mouth. But Tierney is able to clear away. Header won by Virgil van Dijk. Good sliding challenge from Ceballos. Will get the ball out to Nicolas Pepe. Ceballos has looked fairly energetic since his introduction. Has done fairly well for himself, springing Lacazette in for that excellent chance. Has made a few nice passes in behind the Liverpool back line, and it's generally been a fairly robust presence for Arsenal. Here he is again, going into the challenge, almost wins it. In the scrum, it comes out for a Liverpool player. Now it's with Jota. He cuts inside, will shoot! And that one goes quite well wide of the goal there. Doesn't quite get the whip on the ball that he was looking to with his first shot, Diogo Jota. Instead, that one will sail harmlessly high and wide. Arsenal will restart here as we crest the 80-minute mark. Just 9 minutes remaining in regulation in the match here today. Arsenal still playing with this one in the back. See David Luiz picks out a nice pass into Maitland-Niles. He'll clip this one wide for Bellerin, but poor pass there from Maitland-Niles. He does not get the right contact, and that one sails away from Bellerin. Will go out for a Liverpool throw-in here. Milner on to this one, but we'll leave it for Robertson. 8 minutes remaining in regulation here. Robertson going to look all the way back to Virgil van Dijk. Shifts this one across for Joe Gomez. He's going to put a long pass out to the right-hand touchline. Picks out Salah well. Salah brings it down well as decides not to take Tierney on. Instead resets the ball back to Alexander-Arnold. It is now back with Van Dijk. He looks inside to Milner. Now out once again towards Salah here. Picks it out well again. Salah with some room to run this time. Cuts inside. Gets inside of Maitland-Niles. Great pass in to Diogo Jota. And Diogo Jota hits the side netting. Incredible chance for Jota to score there on his Liverpool debut. He's picked out brilliantly by Mohamed Salah, but just doesn't quite pick his finish correctly. Definitely onside there, and can't quite steer that one into the near post. Instead, hitting the side netting just to the left of that right-hand post of Bern Leno. So chance goes begging there for Liverpool and for Diogo Jota to open his account at his new club. Play will resume with David Luiz on this one. He'll look back for Leno. Now over to Rob Holding. Ceballos. Arsenal still looking very confident playing out from the back. Ceballos dribbles this one out. We'll pick up Bellerin. He will look long into the channel for Pepe. Pepe isolated with Virgil van Dijk, trying to take him on. Has to cut back. There's now 3 players around him. It's poked off of him by Milner. Bellerin comes away with it. Looks for a short cross in. Will pick out Nketiah. He tries to knock it off a Liverpool player and will do so. Corner kick to Arsenal here on 84 minutes. So great chance here once again for the Gunners to try to level this match. Still trailing 2-1 here as we approach the end of regulation. Pepe once again on the corner kick in the far corner. Prepping for this one. Here comes the corner kick. Once again low and hard. This one will not get past Robertson once again. Liverpool left back able to clear that one away all the way to half field. It will go all the way back to Bern Leno. Now across to Kieran Tierney, who's closed down extremely quickly by Jorginho Wijnaldum. Plays a nice pass in behind for David Luiz. Not sure if the defender is offsides. And yes, there is the flag raised. David Luiz will be forced to make the run of shame back to his defensive line. Meanwhile, Roberto Firmino picks this one up, dropped in deep from the forward line. Goes back to Joe Gomez. He'll look wide for Robertson. This is actually a pretty poor lofted pass. Jota doing a nice job there to shield Bellerin off the ball and retain possession for Liverpool. Robertson inside to Fabinho. Back out to Jota. Leaves that one a little short for Robertson, but nobody there to pressure. So Robertson able to feel fairly comfortable with that one. Now Alisson with it. Looks out wide to Alexander-Arnold. He will clear this one with his left foot towards the center of the pitch. Firmino coming to get that one. Does a great job. Picks out Salah. Here's some room to run for Wijnaldum. Salah takes a little bit too long. Here's Wijnaldum still on sides. Clips into the back post for Salah. He gets in the way of Jota. And the 2 Liverpool forwards can't agree on who's going to take that one on. It falls between the 2 of them. And Arsenal able to come away with it. Now here's a ball in behind towards Pepe. It's intercepted by Robertson. Very well done there from the left back. Liverpool have possession once again. Firmino just happy to reset this one back to Joe Gomez. Liverpool happy to eat time off the clock here. As Firmino now in field as a midfielder. Helping keep possession here. Salah and Firmino exchanging a couple of Barcelona passes there. Now Fabinho with it. And this one ends up at the feet of Alisson. Finds Joe Gomez. Drives through 2 Arsenal players. Clips this one over the top. Excellent ball here from Joe Gomez. Picking out Diogo Jota. He's trying to take on Rob Holding. Cannot get the better of the Arsenal defender there, but it will go out for a Liverpool throw-in. We look back at the replay here between Salah and Diogo Jota. Yeah, Salah, I think, Doesn't really get his head up. I think that pass from Wijnaldum is intended for Diogo Jota, who's standing there at the back post, and Salah kind of potentially seeing the glory of the opportunity there, just running straight onto that one, not seeing his Liverpool teammate waiting for that ball to arrive, and just kind of pokes it with his left foot, which allows it to fall right to an Arsenal player. Here is that corner kick. Andy Robertson over this one. Goes in towards the center of the box, headed away by Rob Holding. Knocked back in by Alexander-Arnold towards the right side. Salah will manage to keep this one in. It's met by Ceballos. Holding him off now. We'll pass back. Cross in first time by Alexander-Arnold. Headed away by David Luiz, only as far as Jota, who shoots. And it's a goal! A debut goal for Diogo Jota. Despite missing the chance earlier, he keeps at it and is rewarded with a debut goal into the bottom left corner of the net. It's 3-1 Liverpool, and all 3 points for Liverpool. And welcome to Merseyside, Diogo Jota, fresh transfer in from Wolves, $42 million. Here's the cross in from Alexander-Arnold. It's headed right to Jota by David Luiz. Doesn't get enough purchase on that header. Jota takes it down well with his thigh and then volleys it directly into the bottom left corner, catching Bernd Leno over to one side of his net. The Arsenal goalkeeper not even close enough to dive for that one. As it does come through, it looks like the legs of Hector Bellerin potentially blocking the sight of Bernd Leno here, as that one goes in off the post. Looking at the replay there may have been a slight handball by Jota, but has not been checked by the referee, and the goal will stand. So it's again 88th minute goal here, debut goal for Diogo Jota. Will give Liverpool a 3-1 lead and essentially wrap up the points here for the Reds against Arsenal. So we tick over to 89 minutes, just a minute remaining in regulation here. Should be a couple minutes of stoppage time as Jota able to come away with this one. Finds a Robertson. Now Fabinho. Back into Firmino. Essentially playing as another midfielder at this point. Wijnaldum. Joe Gomez. Here's Van Dijk. For Fabinho, he'll knock it out to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Gomez across to Robertson. Firmino still sitting back in the Liverpool midfield. Happy to just exchange some short passes here. Eat the remaining time off the clock as we are just about to tick over the end of regulation. We'll find out shortly how much stoppage time we have. Can't imagine it's too much as Jota plays a nice pass in behind here for Robertson, driving into the box. His cross is deflected, comes to Jota. Here it is, top of the box for Wijnaldum. Looks across for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Crosses towards the back post, but gets a little bit too much on that one. It will go out for an Arsenal goal kick. 3 minutes of stoppage time awarded by the fourth official here. So we can see Takumi Minamino up for Liverpool. He will be the final substitution for the Reds here. Some applause for Roberto Firmino, who will be withdrawn. So final change here for Jurgen Klopp. Firmino off, Minamino on. Last couple minutes remaining in stoppage time in this match, and one that has been thoroughly dominated by the Reds, must be said. And a debut goal here for Diogo Jota, wrapping up the third goal for Liverpool after the first two provided by Sadio Mane and Andy Robertson. Arsenal trying to get this one in behind for Nketiah. It's taken away by Van Dijk. Clearance from Joe Gomez. Does go out for an Arsenal throw. The ball in behind by Ainsley Maitland-Niles. That one launched skyward by Virgil van Dijk, and he's just bumped in the back by Pepe. That's an easy foul call for the referee. Pepe protesting, saying that Van Dijk going down a little bit too easily there, but anyone that's played a little bit of soccer knows how easy it is to go down when you are pushed in the back and can't see where it's coming from, and also how easy it is to, once there is contact in your back, go down and draw a foul. So pretty easily done there by Van Dijk. This one will be launched forward by Alisson. Just a minute remaining in stoppage time here as David Luiz sees this one stripped off his foot, but Dani Ceballos will come away with it. He's going to look long here. That pass actually deflected. Does find the path of Aubameyang. He isn't behind. 3 Liverpool players closing him down. He cuts it back. Looks for a short pass there, but a sliding challenge from Joe Gomez will knock that one away. And I believe it may have come off of Eddie Nketiah. And Aubameyang frustrated here as another chance goes begging. He is on sides. Another excellent pass from Dani Ceballos here. And Aubameyang does well to cut this one back, gives himself the opportunity, tries to find the onrushing Nketiah, but not quite on the same page as Aubameyang was the youngster there. Does go out for a corner kick. This one does get over the head of Robertson, but headed away by Milner this time. Jota chasing down Dani Ceballos. He is able to get around the Liverpool player, but that will do it. The referee blows for full time, and it is a 3-1 victory here today for Liverpool. First goal for Arsenal provided by Alexandre Lacazette after that terrible mistake from Andy Robertson, but after that it was all Liverpool. Scoring just 3 minutes after that mistake was Sadio Mane on the tap-in as after Salah got around Kieran Tierney in the box there. And that one was shortly followed 6 minutes later by the redemption story for Andy Robertson, cropping up at the back post to turn home a cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold, with the goal scoring rounded out by debutant Diogo Jota here, scoring in the 88th minute in his debut after missing a pretty decent chance just a couple minutes before that. That will do it for the match here today. Must be said, a pretty fair scoreline for Liverpool. Clearly the superior of the two sides today, and will be taking a deserved 3 points home. That will do it for our coverage here today. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you did enjoy the commentary. Hope you did enjoy the match. And we will catch you at the end of this week for more Premier League action. I believe the schedule is in my schedule on Twitch, but go through a couple of our match ratings here really quickly and then give some thoughts. So for Liverpool, Alisson coming away with a 6.5. I think that's probably pretty fair. I think maybe even a 7 you could give him because he made that excellent save on Alexandre Lacazette after he was played through by Dani Ceballos, which kept the score at 2-1 at the time, which was around 61, 62 minutes. So pretty decent performance by Alisson. Not much he could do about the mistake from Andy Robertson there. Trent, 8.1. Yep, I think that's fair. Comes away with an assist. Very industrious and robust in both his defending and his attacking. Excellent crosses. Balls played in behind. Nice performance by Trent. 7 from Joe Gomez. Yep, probably fair. 7 from Virgil. You could give him a 7, or you could give him a 7.5 and an 8 if they had the shutout. And while again, you can mostly point the blame to Andy Robertson for that. It does hurt a little bit, and didn't have a ton of defending to do between the two of them in this match. Arsenal very rarely had the ball, but were fairly convincing in everything they did. And I would say for Virgil in particular, had a very nice day with his crossfield passes out to Mohamed Salah. Wijnaldum, I think 7. Fabinho, 7.5, I think is fair. Naby Keita, 6.5, probably fair. All of them pretty effective today on the day. Again, had a decent amount of possession because they were basically a midfielder up for most of the match. I think Fabinho definitely the most successful of the 3. Wijnaldum probably the most industrious, and Naby just solid today, I would say, but not spectacular. We look at Mo Salah. I think you could probably give him a 7.5. I think 7 might be a little disingenuous. He did an excellent job taking down a ton of Virgil's passes, was always available, used his body extremely well to hold off Kieran Tierney, and did excellently to round Tierney and take that shot as well. The only thing you could be mad at him for is taking that potential second goal away from Diogo Jota when he stole it from his own teammate. But 7.5 for him, 7 for Firmino. Not involved in any of the goals. Not super involved in some of the build-up play, but was typical Firmino, trying to be available, dropping in deep, facilitating the attack. Fairly effective performance for him. Mane, I think an 8 is pretty fair. Once again, extremely dynamic performance from him. was a nuisance for Rob Holding all day. Tapped his goal in well, defended very well. Just a very dynamic presence overall. For Arsenal, Lacazette, I think a 7 probably fine. Finishes the chance presented to him. Was the most dangerous of their attacking players in all honesty. Doing well to get in behind, making good runs. Just unfortunate he didn't finish that second one that he really should have done better with. But a 7 for him. I think a 6 for Willian is okay. You can't really blame him for much. Because he just wasn't very involved in the match, right? The Arsenal game plan, I don't think, went exactly the way they would have wanted it to. They've had very little possession, and so Willian is never going to be super effective when starved of possession or chances to be on the ball. I think the same can be said for Aubameyang. Didn't really get super involved in the match. Looked fairly dangerous and almost scored at the very end of the match there when he did get chances, but just wasn't afforded a whole lot and ended up being a little peripheral to the match because of how dominant Liverpool were in possession and really just overall. Bellerin 6.5. I think that's too generous. I think he picked up a bad yellow. He was caught sleeping for the goal, for the Robertson goal. I think you should give him a 5-5 or a 5, probably. Wasn't super effective in attack. I don't think he played any particularly good crosses in. I think that's a generous rating. I think... Yeah, so we'll give Bellerin a 5. We'll give Maitland-Niles a 6. He was less culpable for most of Liverpool's goals. He does help set up their first goal with a pretty decent run. And of the two outside backs or outside mids, was the one who could hold his head the highest. Don't think he did anything terrible. Just a normal day for him. I don't think Granit Xhaka deserves a 6-4. They were pretty healthily dominated in midfield, and the game plan for Arsenal seemed to be to bypass the midfield entirely, so they weren't asked to attack. They didn't really defend particularly well, so I would give a 6 to him, maybe a 5-5. Same to El Neni. I would say they're basically the same performance today. Holding, I would give a 5 as well. I think he struggled a lot with Sadio Mane, particularly when on the ball under pressure from Mane. I mean, Mane robbed him of possession 3 or 4 times outside of his own box and was either bailed out in the ensuing, by last-ditch challenges or by other teammates of his. So I'd give Rob Holding a 5. I don't think he was very effective. I think he had a rough day, and I think the pressure from Mane was a little bit too much for him to handle. David Luiz, 5-5. Played some good passes, but again, as we talked about, he's not an anchor for a 3. He shouldn't be playing as an anchor for a 3. The game plan was for him to spray passes into their 3 forwards, have Willian and Aubameyang be wide, be able to pick them out, and then be able to keep the ball forward for that reason, right? And with so little possession, he just couldn't do it. And then even when they had possession, it was only really in the second half that you saw a few of those passes happen. So because of that, you have to account for his defensive liabilities. He wasn't great defensively, 5-5. Tierney, I think a 6 is fair for Tierney. Definitely the best of the 3 defenders, although he did get rounded by Salah for the goal. I think he can hold his head the highest in the efforts that he made and some of the crossing that he did. Definitely was very busy on that side. Salah got a lot of passes from Virgil, and I think he defended him pretty well for most of the match. But Salah being Salah, he's gonna take advantage of pretty much everything. But I do think the least culpable and probably the easiest to hold your head high of the 3 defenders there. Leno, if I'm thinking about the goals, can probably do better with the Salah goal. Didn't really push that one away very well. Not much you could do about the Robertson goal, and I do think he could have done better with the Jota goal, because as you'll see in the replay, if you're still watching the highlights here, he is way off to the right-hand side of his goal here when this occurs. Not this one, sorry. When the goal is scored. He doesn't really set himself into position after David Luiz's poor-headed clearance. Here's the second one that Salah robbed Jota of, but here's the goal. So you see it right here. So keep your eye on his positioning. So this comes out, he's over to the right-hand side of the goal as you see this replay come in. He's leaning towards the near side of his goal. I guess his left, our right, if you're a Liverpool player. And it just leaves us, look where he is. Look at how far to that side he is. It leaves the entire left side of the goal. He doesn't even dive for this. It's not like Jota like rips this. It's a good finish. Don't get me wrong. And it does go through one of his players' legs, but he doesn't dive for it, and he's in the wrong position. So I'm going to say he could do better with both, with the first and third. So yes, I think a 5-5 is fair. Substitutes. Milner just came on for the last part of the match. It's a 6. Minamino, yeah, no time. Jota, 7.5 actually. Did mess up on his first chance, but was in position to do so. Looked lively upon coming on. Exchanged passes well. Was in dangerous positions for all of those attacks. You know, Wijnaldum picked him out because he was in a good spot, and then gets that finish on his debut. So I'm gonna give him a 7.5 on his intro. Dennis, we'll do so. Pepe, 5-5. Didn't really even touch the ball, and his corner kicks were bad. Nketiah 6, just kind of did his job, wasn't really involved. I'm gonna give Ceballos a 7, or even a 7.5. I think this is unfair to him because of the yellow. He was a little petulant the whole time he was on, but as soon as he got on, he played that pass in behind for Lacazette, and he was the only one of Arsenal's players all day to seem confident on the ball in midfield, to seem confident dribbling it forward, passing it forward, and then taking shots in behind the Liverpool back line. He played a couple in the right side. He played that one into Lacazette. He played the one into Aubameyang at the end of the game. He was the only Arsenal player that looked like they had any desire to like challenge Liverpool's defense or had any confidence playing through them, passing through them. I think he was really, really good on his introduction, and I think the 6-4 is very unfair to him. But yeah, that wraps it up for the match ratings. So Liverpool pretty deserved winners here, but thanks again for tuning in. Hope you did enjoy the stream. We'll be back on Friday for some League of Legends, and Saturday, Sunday for some Premier League. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.